Danny, thanks for joining us on the Round 5 preview show on Raw Vision. You'd be pretty excited this week coming up against your old club again?
Yeah, it's always a challenge, mate. Last year, I remember around 16, it was a pretty big week for me. Obviously, been at North for 7 years and probably built myself up a fair bit that week. It actually smashed us. So I got a few text messages that night from a few of the North boys. So I'm looking for revenge this week, yeah.
And it's a big game. Both sides desperate for a win. Both sides haven't had a win yet, so you'd be pretty excited about the contest.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you said, both sides just want to get a win on the board to get their season back on track or on track. So I think you'll find that both teams will come out pretty hard. We've both had pretty hard runs into round 5. So I think you'll find the start will be real crucial to the game, and whoever can get the 4 points really keeps himself in the hunt. But whoever loses this, it probably makes it a bit hard, I reckon, to try and make the 8 from here on in.
And just talking about the start to the year for the Tigers, 4 teams potentially playing the top 4. Is that a positive, playing those sides early?
I think if you look at the ladder, 0, 1 draw and 3 losses, most people would say no, but I think it's been terrific for our younger group to be able to come up against those 4 and just get a real feel for one where we are at as a side, but also how we go against the better sides. And I think we've shown in some of the quarters in the first 4 rounds that we've been able to create good contests and actually win on the scoreboard. Now it's just a matter of getting some consistency and being able to win 2 and 3 quarters, and hopefully that'll get us the results we need.
And what's been the focus this week going into the game? How do you beat the Kangaroos?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. We haven't really focused a hell of a lot on the Roos this week. It's been more about ourselves again. Probably the last 2 weeks, probably actually last week more so than the week before, we took a fair bit out of our third quarter and some of our second quarter. As I mentioned earlier, just being able to play well against the best side in the AFL for a quarter and a half, just to give our boys some belief. So it's more about how we can get more consistency in our performance, and if we can do that and move the ball well and our defensive game's on, then the North Melbourne thing will take care of itself.
We've obviously gone through the opposition and had a bit of a chat this morning about it, and there's a few key guys that we need to shut down if we're any chance to be in the game, and I think they've got a really good spread of players that are willing to take on the game and very dangerous in any position. So I think that we're going to have to be on our game this week, and I think probably the biggest thing is the contested footy. I think that both sides really pride themselves on contested balls, so I think that's where the game will be won and lost.
Well, Danny, talking about selection for this week, pretty tough for Thursfield and Asbury to make way for McGuan and Rance, who are coming back from suspension.
Yeah, look, it was a tough week in selection. Obviously, Rancey coming back from 3-week suspension and Lukey from his 2-week suspension. Whether we should play them both or play one or what we should do, but I think both those boys, as our supporters would have seen leading up to their suspension, were playing some pretty good football and were pretty important in our makeup. And unfortunately, someone has to go out. And Will didn't do a hell of a lot wrong last week, and Dave Asprey, I think, it's been a big pre-season for him, and he's had 4 games where he's just starting to struggle with his body, etc. So we've just decided to send him back to Coburg just to get some form and some confidence back. So yeah, unfortunately, those 2 had to make way.
And Brad Helbig, is it another situation where a young player will get a rest? Yeah,
look, he's going to go back and possibly play at Coburg. We haven't really decided that as yet, but again, he's been a sub once and only played limited game time, and he came off early in another game as a sub, so he just needs to get some game time into him. So again, if he'd played this week, he was probably going to be the substitute again. So we just felt as a match committee that it's probably best for him to go back and play a full game at Coburg, get some possessions up, win a fair bit of footy, and look, we've seen from Brad that he's going to be a good player for us moving forward, so I dare say that he won't be down there for too long.
And we obviously find out the team at 5 o'clock on Friday, but good to see Nason, Tuck, D, these sort of players into the squad this week.
Yeah, it is. All those players that you've mentioned have earned the right to be in the squad. We still haven't decided which 1 or 2 that we're going to go with as yet, but the beautiful thing is for our supporters that we'll see 2 of those faces in the side now. As I said, we'll probably make up our mind after training Saturday morning as to which way we'll go, but again, new faces will bring some excitement to the playing group, and we should be sweet.
Someone like Reece Conker last week moved from the defence into the midfield. How do you see his game, and will that be a similar role for him throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think it will be moving forward. His first 3 games down back were really good for us, but one thing with our midfield, we've got hard nuts like Dusty Martin and Axel Foley and Trent Cotchin and Jacko who win a lot of their own footy. But one thing Reece adds is his agility to get the footy and then make decisions from there. So some outside football. Probably could have kicked 2 goals as a midfielder last week. So just an area of the game we need to give him a bit more practice in. But yeah, he'll become a midfielder for us, and you'll find him in the midfield this week.
And how did you see Brad Miller's first game for the Tigers last week?
Yeah, I thought he did really well. Didn't get a heap of possessions, but what he did do was sort of straighten us up as a side. The third key tool allows Jack and Ty to shift around the ground and play some different roles, etc. His leadership, his ability to create a contest. The supporters and members and that mightn't have seen it, but his ability to create blocks for Jack and Ty at times was just outstanding for us. And he's been terrific in his first game. So again, he'll play this week, and hopefully he puts in another strong performance for us.
Thanks for joining us, Danny, and good luck for the weekend.
No worries. Thanks, mate.